Former Member of Parliament says it is time Parliament stops playing with the trust fund money. St. Martin on schedule to reopen on August the 1st, 2020 to the United States with a strict protocol. Minister of Justice thanks the Dutch detachment for the extra manpower. Those are the headlines for Friday, July the 31st, 2020. Good evening, everyone. This is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, on Friday, July the 31st, 2020, Corps Politie St. Martin, KPSM, hosted a farewell ceremony for the Dutch detachment that have supported the local police force for more than 2 years after the devastation of Hurricane Irma. And for this occasion, the colleagues of KPSM and NP marched in front of the police station in Phillipsburg for the last time together. After which, a small ceremony was held at the parking lot space behind the Richardson building at the Walter R. Kramers police station. Speeches were given by the Minister of Justice as well as the final words by Chief of Police, Mr. Carl John. COVID-19 protocols were adhered to during the ceremony. In her speech, Minister of Justice, the Honorable Anna Richardson, thanked the Dutch detachment for their assistance. The minister said that the extra manpower was most needed after Hurricane Irma back in 2017.
3 years ago, the island was impacted by hurricanes Irma and Maria. The devastation changed our lives forever. And from a public management perspective, it has taught us much. But in the various areas of need, the support of extra manpower to ensure the safety and security on the island was perhaps of most importance. We needed help, and we received it. The Netherlands and other countries within the kingdom provided that extra manpower, providing us with direct assistance. And at the end of that direct assistance, St. Martin and Holland agreed that the assistance of the Dutch police would remain for an extended period, allowing KPSM to implement their recovery plan. Since 2017, they have been here with us, allowing the police of St. Martin to accomplish a great deal. KPSM was able to develop further and implement new policy strategies and structures of crisis management to secure the safety and security of the island. The policing abilities of KPSM has improved tremendously, and we are grateful for that. The extra assistance of the Dutch counterparts was essential in the realization of these efforts. Directly after Irma, various social projects were implemented within community officers and the multicultural team. This brought the community closer to the police, where goodwill and mutual understanding were fostered. We were also assisted with various and other projects, events, and training programs next to social programs. Needless to say, the support we've experienced over the last few years has been invaluable. Today, on behalf of the government of St. Martin, the Ministry of Justice, my person in the capacity as Minister of Justice, and the people of St. Martin, I want to express my gratitude for all the hard work and dedication to the country of St. Martin we have received.
Chief Public Prosecutor Moll, in her speech, thanked all of the Dutch police. Prosecutor Moll said that she is not only thanking them for their personal contribution, but her gratitude extends to the Dutch police for their continued support of the KPSM.
To say goodbye to the Dutch detachment in KPSM. The Dutch police has supported the police in Martin these past years by sending detachments of Dutch police officers. You are the last group to leave without having other officers to to take over your positions. Thank you for your service. Thank you, Leonie Tims. Thank you, Emiel van den Berg, Vincent van der Pol, Gerijn Weigers en Emiel Voorijn. Thank you, Bart Koenjaerts, Ben Bloemendaal, Frank Bollinga en Sanne Rieseros. Thank you, Ed Savander, Dennis Franke, Steve Lewis and Amanda Bakker. And finally, not to be forgotten, thank you very much, Suzanne van Kool. As Chief Public Prosecutor, I am not only thanking you for your personal contribution, but my gratitude extends to the Dutch police for their continuous support of KPSM. I genuinely believe that this way of support has made a very significant difference for the status of law enforcement in Sint Maarten. However, the job is not yet done. It is not finished. Your departure leaves KPSM, leaves Sint Maarten, with a gap in the necessary capacity to maintain the level of enforcement that is needed. That is, of course, not your fault, nor do I want to blame or criticize anyone. I'm merely stating what I see as a fact that I regret. I know we can expect young Sint Maarten police officers to finish their training and strengthen KPSM, and I'm very happy with that. However, it does not reflect the required expertise in the organization that is, in my opinion, needed for Sint Maarten. That is why your departure is, to me and to the Public Prosecutor's Office, a sad one.
And Chief of Police, Mr. Carl John, said he didn't really have a speech. And he said it was not appropriate to say goodbye because the police will be needing their cooperation and guidance in the coming months.
I don't think it's appropriate to say goodbye because we still need the cooperation of our colleagues from Holland for the coming months. And maybe it won't be in the form of 20 or 30 men, but we designed structures where we're going to keep a working relationship with them. But let me start like this, and I don't believe in preparing what you have to say when you mean it. I want to tell a story that, and when I look around, I know how much I need to tell this story. Because when I look around, I see most of my management team, and I see young officers, and one or two other colleagues. Maybe it was difficult for the rest to say goodbye in public, but I know they had their sessions of saying goodbye individually per group. And I would have loved to see that group here today to show how much we appreciate the working relationship with our Dutch counterparts. So my story that I wanted to tell is, and I heard this somewhere else, so I didn't make it up. So there was this gentleman whose boat was sinking, and he believed in God. He said, "My God will save me." So all of a sudden, a fisherman's boat passed by, and they asked him, "Can we help you?" He said, "My God will save me." After that, a tanker passed by, and they said, "Can we help you? Your boat is sinking." He said, "My God will save me." After that, the Coast Guard got notice of his boat sinking and sent a helicopter with a line all the way down to him. He said, "My God will save me." Now, how does this relate to what we're doing here today. At a given moment, if you do not recognize that you need help, if you do not recognize in which form your God will save you, you will not be saved. It took a lot out of my team because, in all honesty, as Caribbean Dutch people, we have a pride. Nobody comes into our house and take it over. Nobody comes into our house and tell us how to do it, because we know it better, we know it good, and we are doing it good. It took a lot out of my team to recognize that there are other ways of doing this. There are better ways of doing this. There are more effective and efficient ways of doing this. And that was lessons learned from the working relationship of 3 years with our Dutch counterpart.
And still to come, former Member of Parliament says it is time Parliament stops playing with the trust fund money. We'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
This is SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten. And as we continue now with more news, member of the Anti-Poverty Platform, Dr. Anders Raymond Gisseroen, speaking at their weekly press briefing on Thursday last, July the 30th, elaborated more on the home repairs complaints and the NRPB.
The Prime Minister, in the meeting of Tuesday, informed the Parliament on a question received from parliamentarians on the home repair complaints of the Consumer Coalition and a response from the NRPB. The Prime Minister has asked the NRPB if there was no response to the complaints of the Consumers Coalition, but she didn't ask us about the complaints. The NRPB informed the Prime Minister that they have received 2 complaints from homeowners, which were handled with lawyer Cormerks and the Consumers Coalition. NRPB, they said, only handles complaints via a procedure on their website. The complaint procedure is only for clients who signed a home repair contract with the NRPB. The NRPB did not inform the Prime Minister of the many daily complaints from homeowners which the home repair activity manager, as they call her, receives via phone or via WhatsApp. Well, Prime Minister, if you really want to know how many complaints there are about the NRPB and the home repair program, you could have asked us about the complaints we have received. But we suggest that you and/or the Minister of Romy, that you follow the recent example of the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, when he wanted to assist workers which did not get full salary paid. His ministry invited them publicly to come and register their complaints at the government administration building. By inviting them publicly to assist them if they were not treated fair, you will hear from the horse's mouths their experiences and the complaints, so that you can give improvement instructions to the NRPB. Our main complaint as Consumers Coalition, which we have made public on various occasions, also in a meeting that we had with the NRPB staff, is that until now, 3 years after the devastating hurricane, we have not seen neither the projects nor the tenders for bidding to build back better and stronger 15,000 resilient homes for the people of St. Martin. We made 2 documentaries about the housing situation of the poor and the needy. One, which was 1 year after Irma, and another one 2 years after Irma, to illustrate the need to build back better and stronger homes for the people. The only home repair program provided thus far by the NRPB is a private home owners repair project targeting 140 homes. Whereas the St. Martin Development Fund and other social organizations have repaired almost 700 homes. The NRPB staff and the contractors are sitting on all the funding. They have only targeted 140 homes.
Meanwhile, former Member of Parliament and former Deputy Chair of Parliament, Mr. Claude Chacho Peterson, speaking on the program in the Breakfast Lounge with Lady Grace this morning, says it is time for Parliament to stop playing games with the trust fund money. While the anti-poverty platform has criticized the director of the NRPB, Mr. Claret Connor, Mr. Peterson says that while Claret Connor may not have the perfect resume for the job, he has clearly done his homework and he has clearly learned a lot on the job, and we should start boosting him up.
So guess what? It's time for Parliament to stop playing games about the trust fund. The trust fund money is free money that St. Martin people have received. We don't have to pay it back. The Prime Minister even mentioned in Parliament, which is something that we also knew, which is that we have accrued 12 million interest on that money. And that also 12 million will be able to be spent for St. Martin. So at the end of the day, instead of continuing petty games and personal agendas because the money is involved with the World Bank and with the Dutch, we need to focus on spending that money, Lady Grace. That money is going to make a huge difference for St. Martin if we spend it the right way.
But isn't that the intention? Isn't that what we're planning on doing?
Yes, but if every time we are calling ministers to Parliament, right, to bog them down, and we are now personally attacking Mr. Claret Connor, who is the NRPB, remember, it took us almost a year to have to get that NRPB set up. So that NRPB, it was set up to be the buffer between the ministers day to day, right, and being able to help put the project in place, manage the project, and be able to put all the players together and disperse the money. Has it been easy? Absolutely not. I can tell you, I personally have seen a difference with Mr. Connor, with Claret, from when he started to where he is now. I'm a very critical person. I say it as it is. Huh?
What's the difference between when you saw him and you started to work?
When Claret first got the position, okay, and I want to make clear to people also, Claret was not hired by the coalition, okay? Claret, although he's affiliated to the UD, Claret also was a candidate with many other candidates, many of whom were not even from St. Martin, and it's a committee of 3 people, I believe, that independently selected the candidate, and they chose Claret. Good. Now, if I have to be fair and honest, when I look at Claret's background, right, coming from the industry that Claret comes from, he doesn't have necessarily the perfect resume for that job, okay, because that job really involves a lot of project management. But the Claret that I saw months ago, a year ago, right, is not a Claret that I'm seeing today. He has clearly done his homework. He has clearly learned a lot on the job, right? And I think instead of pulling him down, right, it's time to actually boost him up and look at the possibilities of us recruiting capacity, right, from the Netherlands Antilles, former Netherlands Antilles, so Curacao, Aruba, and then start to look to Holland and different places, but recruit capacity that can be employed in the NRPB to be able to assist. We have some great people in RPB that are working now, but guess what? When we set up the NRPB, the issue you had, the former Prime Minister, was here now you have people that were working in the Interim Recovery Committee, that was the committee handling the trust fund while the NRPB was being set up.
Right.
And these people, most of them went over to the NRPB. But that leaves a capacity gap now for the government. You understand? So those are things, you know, that I continue to say is no longer necessary to continue crying about them. We have done way more than 7 roofs. The NRPB is involved in projects that are fixing houses. They are involved in many more projects. Are some projects lagging? Absolutely. One of them, for instance, is the Rex and the Lagoon. But guess what? Coming from an engineering perspective, I can tell you that I've been on many projects, and I can tell you that, for instance, we plan to start in December, right? And December 2020, and we ended up starting, let's say, 6-7 months later. Why? Maybe we had weather. We had an issue with a permit. There's so many factors that can change. So my point is, again, government doesn't have time anymore to continue petty games on whether we should accept the trust fund or not.
And as we continue, and several weeks ago, SXM Daily News had the opportunity to speak with the director of NRPB, Mr. Claret Connor, on the rebuilding of homes and projects on the island. Mr. Connor expounded further as to what is needed to be done in his opinion.
St. Martin is in a position where, like Aruba and like Curacao, the government would have to find the means that is being provided by Holland under the circumstances that they're talking about. And I think this requires a lot of understanding on all sides in terms of coming to a place where reason, pragmatism, and understanding is the core of the conversation, as opposed to the heavy-handedness or the resistance or the emotions that is being expressed now. It is not difficult, and this is a pandemic. This is not a hurricane where we can open up in 6 weeks and start to see things happening again. You see the numbers rising again in the U.S., the area that we get most of our tourists from. So we know we're going to be in this for a while. Our economy is a tourist-based economy. The Dutch is saying you have to diversify, but you can't diversify within 6 weeks. So there's a lot that has to be done. I think personally, cooler heads will prevail. I have total trust and confidence in the government, in terms of not only the government but the people of St. Martin, in terms of how we're going to approach this. I think at some point we are going to have to come down off of that emotional high and have this solemn and serious conversation about the length of time that it's going to take for us to come out of this, and realize that whatever decision we make today, that it's going to take 2 generations to complete it. Because what we are going to borrow in terms of, despite the fact that it's a loan, we're not paying it back in a year, we're not paying it back in 2 years. It's going to take 20, 30 years to pay back, and depending on what we face moving forward. Because last year, this time, we were talking about trust fund and roofs, and we're never talking about a pandemic that might cost €1 billion between the 3 islands to help get over. This is a bridge. We have to get over it. One thing I can guarantee you, though, is we are resilient, and we will rise. We definitely will rise. St. Martin's a beautiful place. We are blessed people, and I think we are experiencing the blessings of our forefathers. They were praying people, and we have to continue in that same fashion for the generations to come.
Now turning to our weather forecast for July the 31st, 2020. A drier airflow into the region will aid in restricting precipitation during this forecast period. Meanwhile, the dominant Atlantic high pressure system is generating gentle to moderate breeze. Slightly hazy conditions are expected to prevail as varying concentrations of Saharan dust passes over the region. Moderate marine conditions are expected during this forecast period. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise extreme caution. So the outlook through Sunday midday, partly cloudy, slightly hazy with passing showers. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, St. Martin on schedule to reopen on August the 1st, 2020 to the United States with a strict protocol. You'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. As we continue now with more news, St. Martin will open tomorrow, August the 1st, 2020, to travelers from the United States. The safety of visitors and residents remains the top priority for the country. In preparation of opening, site inspections took place at all lodging facilities to ensure that the protocol and guidelines which have been put in place are followed. With these strict measures in place, St. Martin continues its phased reopening. Within the hospitality sector, 6 core measures have been developed to prevent the spread of COVID-19 on the island, including physical distancing with proper floor markings, mandatory face mask usage, social distancing of 2 meters, proper self-sanitization procedure, the appropriate procedure for cleaning surfaces, a stay-at-home when sick policy, and the digital menus and messages. Strict regulations are in place for travel to the island as set forth by the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor. Visitors are required to complete a health declaration online 72 hours before arrival via www.stmartinentry.com. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, viewers, the Regreening St. Martin Project, an initiative of the Netherlands Red Cross and the Nature Foundation SXM, collaborated with SXM Action and the St. Martin Youth Brigade to organize its first monthly community cleanup in the Madame Estate and Arch Road community last weekend. A group of over 25 volunteers came out to give back to our environment and help build environmental resilience by spending the morning cleaning up the garbage found along the roadside in these communities. The group was very motivated, and together they collected approximately 425 pounds of trash, including beer bottles, cans, cigarette packs, bottle covers, sheets of metal zinc, wood, full bags of trash from homes, and the infamous single-use plastics. It was shocking to see how much garbage can be found on the roadsides of such small communities, yet refreshing to know that a good amount of it was removed from the environment. This cleanup would not have been possible without all of our volunteers, SXM Action and the St. Martin Youth Brigade, who came out and made sure everyone was safe by keeping safe distances between volunteers and fast traffic. And with that, viewers, we've come to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again on Monday. Please enjoy a safe weekend.